I've lost about 45 pounds on a GLP-1, and as I'm getting closer to maintenance, I'm realizing I still need systems so that I can keep eating healthy. When I'm not very hungry, it is so tempting to just grab a protein bar or a shake instead of eating real food, unless the real food is right there, and that's where meal prep comes in. Today, I'm trying a little bit of a different meal prep approach that's going to give me several different lunch options for the week instead of eating the same lunch all week. Let's see how it turns out. If you're new here, hi, I'm Bobby. I have been documenting my GLP-1 health journey after menopause here on YouTube for about the past 17 months. I'm not a medical doctor and I am a therapist, but not your therapist. So none of this is medical or mental health advice. I'm just sharing my experience and what's been working for me. Always consult with your own healthcare providers when you're figuring out what to do for yourself. Real quick, my starting weight was 210.1 pounds, and I'm currently weighing in at around 165. I just do a monthly weigh-in, so I'm not sure exactly what my weight is, but it's somewhere around there, so about 45 pounds lost. I didn't really struggle with my weight before menopause, but after menopause, nothing I did would help me to lose weight until I started a GLP-1, and since then I've been losing at a slow, healthy pace. I'm currently on 10 milligrams of Zepbound. It's working well for me. And I'm really close to maintenance. And I am not going to stop meal prepping when I'm in maintenance. It's something I'm going to keep doing because it helps me to eat even when I don't have a lot of appetite because of the Zepbound. I don't want to live on protein bars. And even with doing meal prep, it's still something I struggle with to eat 3 meals a day. But without the meal prep, I would definitely be struggling. Today is the day after my shot. It is 2:19 p.m. and all I've had today to eat or drink is a cup of coffee this morning. The day just kind of got away from me, and this still happens. So usually I meal prep a batch of something to eat every day all week, and that's fine. I don't mind eating the same thing all week, but I'm trying something a little different today. I'm just making some ingredients that I can combine into different types of meals. So let's go. So I'm gonna do some chicken breasts, some kale, and some farro. Okay, I already washed this kale, but I'm going to take it off of its stem now and just roughly chop it. But first I'm gonna put my hair up. But I don't get hair on my kale. The thinnest parts out here don't bother me, but the thick parts I don't wanna eat. This is gonna shrink down a lot. It looks like a ton. It's just one big bunch. When I say roughly chop, I really mean it because it shrinks down so much that big pieces become small when they're cooked. Kale Mountain. So real quick before I start cooking the kale, I'm gonna put 1 cup of water and a half cup of farro. Into the saucepan and bring it to a boil and then simmer it for about 20-25 minutes until it's done. I've talked about farro before. It's a grain that's kind of like rice, but it's got more fiber and it's kind of chewier and nuttier. It's one of my favorite grains. 1/4 cup dry, so about 1/2 cup cooked, has 150 calories, 1 gram of fat, 32 grams of carbs, 5 grams of fiber, and 6 grams of protein. I don't have the greenest of kitchens, but I do try to stay as non-toxic as possible. Like you'll notice my silicone spatula, which I think is really fun because it's got confetti on it. And I've also been trying out some ceramic pans from Caraway. Caraway sent me this set of pots and pans to try out, and I've been using them for the past couple weeks, and partnering with them made sense because their kitchenware is non-toxic. It doesn't have any of those forever chemicals like PFAS, and I'll put the rest of them up here on the screen. It's non-toxic, but it's also really slick, and you hardly need to use any oil. Things don't really stick. It's really nice. I've been doing research on non-stick coated pans, and it turns out that when used properly, they're safe, but when used properly means never burn anything or you're going to release really dangerous gases. In fact, fun fact, well, it's not very fun. Interesting fact, the founder of Caraway accidentally overheated a nonstick pan and got sick with Teflon flu before founding Caraway. So I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm gonna burn things. And I wanna know that if that happens, it will just be annoying, it won't be dangerous. The set I got includes the saute pan, the fry pan, the saucepan, and the Dutch oven, plus lids and magnetic storage units. When you buy the set, you save 20% off compared to buying pieces individually. And you can stack my discount code BOBBY10 on top of the 20% off savings. And I'm releasing this just in time for their Father's Day deal. Right now through June 22nd, if you spend over $495, you get a free butcher box. If you spend over $795, you get the butcher box and Caraway's cast iron grill pan. If you're wanting to swap out your pots and pans for non-toxic alternatives, check out Caraway. Remember, I've got a discount code, BOBBY10, for an extra 10% off. Okay, so the farro's cooking. I'm gonna heat up a little oil. You don't need much oil for things not to stick in these pans. So I'm just gonna put a little drizzle of olive oil and add the kale, like a few batches at a time while it shrinks down. I'm gonna add some salt and pepper. I don't really measure. And just kind of let it soften. And then over here, ooh, it's ready to simmer. It's a nice simmer. Garlic powder and red pepper flakes. Oh, it smells good. I love garlic. And when it's just about done, I put about a teaspoon of vinegar in. I usually use red wine vinegar, but I'm out, so I'm using rice vinegar. It doesn't really matter. You just want a little bit of acidity. Just gonna let this cook for a few more minutes and call it done. If you're enjoying this, please feel free to like and subscribe and share it with someone who you think might also like this content. It really helps the YouTube algorithm show it to more people who might like content like this. I also have an email newsletter that I send out every 2 weeks with behind the scenes stuff and just things I couldn't fit in the videos or that I don't want to put in the videos. I will put the link to sign up for the email newsletter in the description. Almost ready. Oh, I think that's ready. I'm going to clear this out into a container and then cook the chicken in here. So I'm going to let this cool off a little bit and then stick it in the fridge. And I'll show you in a little bit some of the meal options that I'll have with this on hand this week. Ooh, I think it's done. And it never sticks. It might not seem like a lot of grains for a week of meal prep, but I really only put about 1/4 to a 1/2 cup of grains into a salad or bowl or other meal. So this is going to be just perfect. So this is literally nothing fancy here. That's 6 servings of chicken for me. And I'm just gonna preheat a little drizzle of olive oil. Okay, oil's preheated. Gonna add my chicken. and just let it sit for about 8 minutes. Okay, it's 8 minutes later and I've not touched these, and see how they look like they've browned on the bottom, but check it out, they just do not stick. I love it. Okay, now it's been another 8 minutes. Still not stuck. I am going to check and see if they're done in the middle. I think they probably need a couple more minutes. They did need a few more minutes, but I checked and they are done now. Transferring them to a clean plate, of course. Not that raw chicken plate. I didn't burn the chicken! Yay! This looks a mess, but watch how easy it cleans up. Even though I might speed that up on camera, it was so easy. So all week I'm pulling from these containers, the chicken, the farro, and the kale. Sometimes just those three things, and other times I combine them with other ingredients. I'll show you a few examples. So this is the most obvious and, I guess you could say, uninspired meal with these ingredients, which is basically taking a portion of each of them, putting them on a plate and microwaving it. But I gotta say, it was delicious. This was lunch the first day. I just kind of wanted to taste how all the separate ingredients turned out, and it was really easy and good. The next day I used the same three ingredients. You can't really see it, but there's some farro underneath at the bottom of the bowl, and then chicken and kale. And then I mixed up a really quick peanut sauce. I will put the recipe up on the screen, and I will also put the nutritional information up on the screen. The next day I had some leftovers that I added to the farro, kale, and chicken. It was some vegetables from a curry and some of the curry sauce. So there's some sweet potatoes, green beans, and red peppers. And then I poured some of the leftover curry sauce over this whole thing. And I have to kind of estimate what the calories are, since the curry sauce, it was from a restaurant. So I liked this new thing I tried. This kind of meal prep helped me create more variety in my meals without having to cook up different things every day. So that was good. It's funny, I noticed in an older episode at the beginning of the year, it's June right now, that my word of the year has been consistency. And it's not that I forgot, I have been focused on consistency, but I did forget that I called it out as my word of the year. So figuring out ways of keeping meal prep interesting is a way for me to stay consistent in my eating. I still don't know exactly what maintenance is going to look like, but I do know that I'll still be on a GLP-1, so I still need to have convenient, healthy meal options available. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep sort of fiddling around with meal prep to keep it interesting so it doesn't get boring, because once something gets boring, it's really hard to stay consistent. And I also don't want it to be a major production every week. I feel like it's kind of a tall order. Like, I want it to be as easy as possible, but also as new and interesting as possible. So we'll see how it goes. I like my new Caraway pots and pans, so that's something new that is motivating me to cook a little more right now. Remember, there's a Father's Day special running on Caraway's non-toxic ceramic pans, and I've got the discount code BOBBY10 for another 10% off. Everything's linked in the description. I'd love to hear if you meal prep and if you have any tips to share with all of us about making meal prep easy and healthy. I always love to hear from you in the comments. If you're still here, thanks so much for watching to the end. If you want to hear even more about my meal prep, watch this video next. Thanks. See you next week. Bye.